So yesterday, I asked my girlfriend a question. Today is an important day in Turkey. Can you guess what it's about? She answered effortlessly. Is it Ataturk? And she was actually right. And that's not unusual. There's many days in Turkey that are somehow relevant to Ataturk, where you will see the social media filled with his photos, his videos. Some say that Turkish people are idolizing him, seeing him like a god. And I'm self-conscious about it. I know for an outsider, it might be looking a little weird. For an educated, modern human being, how do you make sense out of this? I, for one, don't think that figures of authority should be celebrated and loved. They should be studied with caution and distrust. But in this case, I have to say that Turkish people are perfectly justified. My shortest explanation to this question is it even possible to celebrate the Republic while ignoring the most prominent symbolism of it? Ataturk is not just a human being. He is an icon. He is a part of the founding myth, the legend of Turkey. He is a war hero and the architect behind the Turkish Republic. And just like how every civilization have a founding myth behind it, how every country has some symbolism behind it that is important, it could be the founding fathers, it could be religion, it could be some important event. For Turkey, it is one man and his rebellion. So when Turkish people are using Ataturk at the national celebrations, it is not just about Mustafa Kemal with flesh and bones. It is about the meaning behind the symbolism. This symbol represents a rebellion, independence against the mightiest empires of the time. It represents equality for women. It represents having rights for the common people. It represents a dignified way of living for Turkish people. And when some political power centers are trying to remove this symbol and wage war against everything it represents, of course people embrace it harder. They take shelter under it. They use it as a shield. They use it as a form of solidarity. When people stand still in remembrance, they're not afraid. They don't feel obliged to. They show solidarity between themselves. So when people all stand together to remember Ataturk, it isn't 100% about Ataturk. It's about all the other people who are also standing. It's about showing that you are together in the same theme. But then I thought, this is not the full story, is it? It is not the whole truth. Because after all, we mourn his death every year. Some of us get so emotional that we start crying. We don't let his photos lay on the ground. If these are not signs of idolization, then what are? How can I argue that there is nothing concerning about this? Well, I don't blame you for saying that. Because when we try to make sense out of things, we make comparisons. We say, oh, how would that be if Germans were doing that? How would that be if the Japanese were doing that? But this thought experiment misses vital information. Ataturk was no king, no lord, no emperor, no sultan. He didn't inherit anything from his family. He wasn't born into power. He was a servant, a soldier who took orders, who defied orders, and then became a prime minister, maybe a dictator, who spent the rest of his life to make sure that there would be no dictators after him. But he did not want power for power's sake. He did not get corrupted by it. He called his presidency a cage, and hated it because it was putting distance between him and his people. Okay, maybe these are small details, but he was not even letting people kiss his hands. Instead, he would be the one kissing hands if he sees an old woman or old man. He would continue talking to people beneath him with words like abi, abla, evlat, anne, seeing them as equals and family members. Even in his sick days, he refused treatment so that he could be seen strong by his children. He didn't even want to have actual children because he was fearing that this would undo everything he was fighting for. Because if he had a son, that could bring another monarchy. He was visiting the most forgotten corners of Anatolia that a normal ruler would not even know of, only to make the people feel known, only to touch them. He was praising them, probably not really believing it, but wanting it to be true. He was not a ruler. He was a father who dedicated his life to leave a better world for his children. And this, my friends, is how Turkish people also see him. They don't just respect his deeds. They don't just admire his charisma. It's not about how smart or strong he was. It's about his sacrifice. It's about his position for Turkish people. He isn't a mighty master, but a loving father. And that's why when people see his photo laying on the ground, they don't lift it out of fear. It's not a wicked programming reaction. For me, it is the purest form of love. And I think that's beautiful.